Hello and welcome back to Scrum Study. What are we waiting for? Let's get ready to learn the last process in the implement phase. So, we're going to discuss the third process called Groom Prioritized Product Backlog. Let's first see the inputs involved. Scrum Core Team is the first source of input. One of the outputs of this process is the identification of the product owner. The product owner is the person responsible for achieving maximum business value for the project. He or she is also responsible for articulating customer requirements and maintaining business justification for the project. The product owner represents the voice of the customer. Each Scrum team will have a designated product owner. A small project may have only one product owner, whereas larger projects may have several. These product owners are responsible for managing their sections of the prioritized product backlog. Product owners write the user stories and manage and groom the prioritized product backlog. A Scrum Master is a facilitator and servant leader who ensures that the Scrum team is provided with an environment conducive to completing the project successfully. The Scrum Master guides, facilitates, and teaches Scrum practices to everyone involved in the project, clears impediments for the team, and ensures that the Scrum processes are being followed. It is the responsibility of the product owner to identify the Scrum Master for a Scrum project. The Scrum team, sometimes referred to as the development team, is a group or team of people who are responsible for understanding the business requirements specified by the product owner, estimating user stories, and final creation of the project deliverables. Scrum teams are cross-functional and self-organizing. The team decides the amount of work to commit to in a sprint and determines the best way to perform the work. The Scrum team consists of cross-functional team members who carry out all the work involved in creating potentially shippable deliverables, including development, testing, quality assurance, etc. Identifying the Scrum team is the responsibility of the product owner, often in consultation with the Scrum Master. Prioritized Product Backlog is the next source of input we're going to discuss. The product owner develops a prioritized product backlog, which contains a prioritized list of business and project requirements written in the form of epics, which are high-level user stories. The prioritized product backlog is based on three primary factors: value, risk or uncertainty, and dependencies. It is also referred to as the risk-adjusted product backlog, since it includes identified and assessed risks related to the project. It also encompasses all approved changes that can be approximately prioritized in the prioritized product backlog. Let's now learn the primary factors influencing the prioritized product backlog, one by one. Let's talk about value first. It is the product owner's responsibility to ensure delivery of those products that provide the highest level of business value first. Even an extremely valuable product may not be part of the first release if there are other products of even higher value that are sufficient for a first release. Risk and uncertainty are two important factors because the more uncertainty that exists, the riskier the project is. Therefore, it is important that riskier products in the prioritized product backlog are given higher priority. Products carrying a higher level of risk will also require risk mitigation actions. When these risk mitigation actions are prioritized against the backlog, the result is a risk-adjusted product backlog. Dealing with risks early in the project does not guarantee that the project will be successful, but it does enhance the team's ability to deal with risk. Next factor is dependencies. It is usually not possible to create a prioritized product backlog in which there are no dependencies between user stories. Functional requirements often depend on other functional and even non-functional requirements. These dependencies can impact how the user stories in the prioritized product backlog are prioritized. Two of the most common ways to resolve dependencies are to either split a single story into multiple parts or combine interdependent stories. Another important factor is estimates. High-level estimates for epics are also available in the prioritized product backlog. Now, what are the tools employed to carry out this process? First of all, we have the prioritized product backlog review meetings as the tool. The intent of the Prioritized Product Backlog review meetings is to ensure that user stories and acceptance criteria are understood and are written properly by the product owner, so that they reflect the actual stakeholder or customer requirements and priorities. User stories are understood by everyone in the Scrum team. And that high-priority user stories are well refined so that the Scrum team can properly estimate and commit to such user stories. The Prioritized Product Backlog review meetings also ensure that irrelevant user stories are removed and any approved change requests or identified risks are incorporated into the Prioritized Product Backlog. Now that we have seen the list of inputs and tools being used, it is time to see the outputs created. Updated Prioritized Product Backlog is the output generated. As we have already discussed it under Tools, I'm going to skip ahead with the impression that you've understood it well. So, Prioritized Product Backlog may be updated with new user stories, new change requests, new identified risks, updated user stories, or reprioritization of existing user stories. With this, we've come to the end of the video featuring the third process in the phase Implement. I hope you've understood all the three processes in detail. Keep learning Scrum through Scrum Study. Thanks for watching.